Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. We are back with the paper Shakespeare Stories. Today's first topic, Shakespeare's Senecan influence. Shakespeare was significantly influenced by Seneca, the Roman playwright and a Stoic philosopher, whose tragedies shaped the conventions of Elizabethan drama. Key elements of Senecan tragedy found in Shakespeare's works include, first of all, revenge and retribution. Central to Senecan drama, this theme is evident in Shakespeare's Hamlet, where the prince seeks to avenge his father's murder. In Titus Andronicus, the cycle of revenge escalates into brutal retribution and a familiar tragedy. The next Senecan theme we can see in Shakespeare's plays is violence and horror. Seneca's plays often included gruesome acts, a trait mirrored in Shakespeare's Macbeth, with its bloody murders and eerie visions. In King Lear, the physical and emotional cruelty, for example, Gloucester's blinding, reflects Seneca's fascination with a human suffering. The next Senecan influence in Shakespeare is supernatural elements. Ghosts, omens, and prophecies, staples of Senecan tragedy, appear prominently in Hamlet. For example, the ghost of King Hamlet and Macbeth. For example, the witches and visions. These elements intensify psychological conflict and a fate-driven action. The next Senecan element in Shakespeare is Stoic philosophy and fate. Seneca's Stoicism, emphasizing endurance and fate, is echoed in Julius Caesar, where characters like Brutus reflect on destiny, honor, and a moral duty. The next Senecan element is long reflective soliloquies. Shakespeare advocates Seneca's use of soliloquies to delve into characters' inner turmoil. Hamlet's famous soliloquy, for example, the one begins with "to be or not to be," are prime examples of philosophical introspection influenced by Senecan models. Our next topic is character types in Shakespeare's plays. Shakespeare's plays feature a rich array of character archetypes, many of which recur across his tragedies, comedies, and histories. These types serve both a dramatic and a thematic purposes. The tragic hero. A noble protagonist with a fatal flaw or hamartia that leads to downfall. For example, Macbeth's ambition, Hamlet's indecision, and an obsession with revenge. Their journeys often explore themes of fate, morality, and inner conflict. The villain. Cunning, manipulative, often Machiavellian in nature. For example, Iago in Othello, who deceives everyone to ruin Othello. Richard III, who uses charm and lies to seize the throne. They challenge the hero and drive the conflict. The next common character we can see in Shakespeare's plays is the fool, who offers comic relief but also profound insight and truth. For example, Fest in A Twelfth Night and the Fool in A King Lear both use wit to comment on human nature and expose deeper truths. Their presence balances tragedy with irony or humor. The next type of characters we can see in Shakespeare's plays is the loyal friends. Supportive figures who remain steadfast to the hero. For example, Horatio in Hamlet, Kent in King Lear. They often act as the hero's conscience or emotional anchor. The next character type is the usurper. over-hungry characters who sees what is not rightfully theirs. For example, Claudius in Hamlet, Macbeth after Duncan's murder. Their ambition disrupts natural order and justice. The next character types we can see the star-crossed lovers. Lovers doomed by fate or social forces. For example, Romeo and Juliet, whose love ends in tragedy due to family feuds and a miscommunication. Our next topic is women in Shakespeare plays. Shakespeare's portrayal of women is diverse and complex, reflecting both the constraints of Elizabethan society and the playwright's progressive imagination. The different groups of Shakespeare's women characters are: first, we have powerful and politically austere women, characters who wield the influence in private and public spheres. Lady Macbeth manipulates her husband and plays a key role in the political intrigue of Macbeth. Cleopatra in Antony and Cleopatra is a commanding queen whose charisma and political maneuvering shape empires. Next, intelligent and witty women. These women use language and intellect to assert themselves. Portia, in A Merchant of Venice, disguises herself as a lawyer to outwit male counterparts. Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing and a Rosalind in the play As You Like It use wit and humor to challenge gender norms. Next, we have victimized and tragic women. Innocent and noble women who suffer unjustly. Ophelia in Hamlet is torn between loyalty and love, leading to madness. Desdemona in Othello and Cordelia in King Lear fall victims to male jealousy and authority. Next, we have rebellious and defiant women, characters who resist control and assert autonomy. Catherine in The Taming of the Shrew challenges patriarchal expectations, though her final submission remains controversial. Our next topic is the use of supernatural elements in Shakespeare's plays. Shakespeare frequently employs supernatural elements to enhance drama, explore psychological depth, and emphasize themes like fate, destiny, and the unknown. First of all, ghosts represent unresolved issues, revenge, or impending doom. In Hamlet, the ghost of King Hamlet urges his son to seek revenge, triggering the play's tragic events. Macbeth is haunted by Banquo's ghost, symbolizing guilt and the consequences of murder. In Julius Caesar, Caesar's ghost foreshadows Brutus' defeat, reinforcing the theme of inescapable fate. The next supernatural element, witches and prophecies. In Macbeth, the three witches deliver cryptic prophecies that manipulate Macbeth's actions and plant the seeds of ambition. Their presence introduces themes of evil, destiny, and the supernatural influence on a human choice. The next supernatural element, fairies and magic. Used in comedies to create enchantment, confusion, and a transformation. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, fairies like Puck use magical potions to stir romantic chaos. In A Tempest, prosperous magic drives the plot, blending wonder with a control and a reconciliation. The next supernatural elements, omens and curses, reflect the moral and cosmic order being disturbed. In Julius Caesar, bad omens foretell the downfall of leaders. In King Lear, curses and storm imagery mirrors leaders' descent into madness and the collapse of natural order.